Six Podcast. I'm your host, Dave Walker. Are about to do Where DWALK is right and Where DWALK is wrong. And week 7 picks usually would have been done last night, but due to me not feeling too well and my own personal issues and all that, I'm not going to get into. But we're going to do this right now. First with Where DWALK is right and wrong. Well, it wasn't that good of a week. There was a lot of rights and more likely some wrongs in this one. But we're going to start with the major wrong. I don't think anybody would have thought was going to occur was the Eagles and the Giants, which I think everyone got wrong, maybe except for Giants fans. But I got wrong. Cam Scadaboo runs for 3 touchdowns, and Jackson Dart shines as the Giants beat the Eagles 34-17. Cam Scadaboo and Jackson Dart sat next to each other on the flight home from New Orleans and lamented the term they commit that caused the New York Giants to lose a game they should have won. Yeah, a game they should have won against the Saints, but this was a game against the Eagles that nobody thought was going to happen, that they were going to win, maybe except Giants fans. But this looked like a game that the Eagles weren't even prepared. They're coming off that loss to Denver. They didn't show up in this game. They didn't look good. I don't know what happened this one. Yeah, I know they had that little private meeting apart, which A.J. Brown said it never occurred. And I'm going to say this to A.J. if you're listening. You really want to play this game, bud? Because now you're giving speculation to podcasters and newscasters out there and saying probably what you're trying to think you're trying to do, which is probably force a trade out of Philadelphia, which happened with T.O., what he did when he got deactivated, and then he got sent to the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I'm not saying that the same thing could occur, but I don't know what is going to happen. But I'm going to say to my friend Joe Law, who listens to this, who's on my show mostly, saying, listening to Seth Joyner. I did listen to Seth Joyner, and he made some very excellent points. And I'm going to play an excerpt of that right now. Sorry, folks. There's going to be ads with this. I'm going to get rid of them. Okay, you heard from what Seth said. Literally, him giving what the Eagles should do and how they were in that game, which is the truth. Like I said, I'm not an Eagles fan, but there are times I'll listen to Seth Joyner. And when my friend Joe Law posted on Facebook, listen to what he said, I listened to that right there. And that's why I had to post this right now. But the Eagles did not look good in this game. And I'm not taking anything away from the Giants. I was shocked the Giants pulled up with both Cam Scatterboo and Jackson Dart. But I know, okay, right now it's early. I still don't think the Giants are going to make the playoffs or win the division, but it is still early right now. But we'll wait and see what happens when Jackson Dart has a full season and see how they do next year. But a breakdown out of this game, once I pull it up right now. Okay, come on. There we go. Jake Elliott, 42-yard field goal. Jackson Dart, 20-yard rush. Wandale Robinson, 35-yard pass from Jackson Dart. Jude McGantry, PAT field. Dallas Goddard, 3-yard pass from Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, 1-yard rush. Cam Scatterboo, 4-yard rush. Cam Scatterboo, 1-yard rush. Cam Scatterboo, 1-yard rush. Leaders for the Giants, Jackson Dart, 17 to 25, 195 yards and a touchdown. Cam Scatterboo, 3 touchdowns, 19 carries for 98 yards. Wandale Robinson, 6 catches for 84 yards and a touchdown. Brian Burns with 2 sacks, and leading tackler was Tyler Nubin with 9 tackles and 6 solo ones. And Jalen did throw an interception, almost could have been a pick 6, and then there were a fumble by A.J. Dillon. The run game was not working, and then it stopped, and then they had to go to Jalen. But all in all, the Giants won, which was a shocker. The Eagles have a tough one against the Minnesota Vikings in Minnesota. As for the Giants, they have to head down to Denver in South Park for a tough one against the Denver Broncos. Next game that I got right and wrong is Broncos-Jets, which I got right picking the Broncos. Broncos get 9 sacks and beat the winless Jets in ugly 13-11 victory in London. It seemed every time Patrick Surtain's second looked, his Denver Broncos teammates were shacking Justin Fields. This was an ugly game, to say the least. I thought Denver was going to dominate the Jets after how they dominated Philadelphia. But it looked like Denver didn't even want to win. And it looked like the Jets were going to get their first win. But Denver did get it when it was matter in an ugly win, escaping London, getting a 13-11 victory, which is a victory they needed. As for the Jets, they stayed winless. They tried and fought in that game, but it didn't matter in the end. The Denver defense clamped down and stopped them. So in a breakdown out of this game, going to go is Nick Folk, 52-yard field goal. Will Lutz, 57-yard field goal. Nick Folk, 41-yard field goal. Nate Atkins, 16-yard pass from Bo Nix. Nick Folk, 38-yard field goal. Offensing, holding, and forcing the end zone for a safety. Will Lutz, a 27-yard field goal. Leaders for the Broncos, Bo Nix, 19-30, 174 yards and a TD. J.K. Dobbins, 14 carries, 40 yards. Evan Ingram, 5 catches, 42 yards. Leading sacker was Jonathan Cooper with 2, and leading tackler was Alex Singleton with 7 and 5 solo ones. For the Denver Broncos, they play up against the New York Giants at home. For the New York Jets, they play at home against the Carolina Panthers. Next game I got right and wrong is Cowboys-Panthers, which I got wrong picking the Cowboys. Dowdle has 239 yards from scrimmage versus his former team as Panthers beat Cowboys on field goal as time expired. Rico Dowdle had warned his former Cowboys team last week they better get ready and buckle up. Yeah, unfortunately, he was right because I thought that this was a game that we were going to win, and I normally thought that Bryce Young is bipolar as fuck at times. But in this game, it was more of the running game of the Carolina Panthers, and our secondary got burnt pretty bad. Much as George Pickens and Dak could do, I didn't like the Cowboys' last play selection, which we kept going backward doing screens. When Carolina went for a fourth down, they had the win when the running back literally slid, knowing what we were trying to do is get them to score, and they got that game-winning field goal, getting the win and securing it. And I know as much as Jerry wants to say, oh, we're going to get something. No, we're not. I'm not believing your lies right now, and I'm not believing your bullshit, pal. You're not going to do anything to help this defense. You're going to do what you do. Try to find someone to draft for next year with those 2 first-round picks because Matt Eberflus needs to go, and I know you're not going to fire him probably till the end of this season. So here we go again. Let's be in defensive hell as usual, and we know we got a tough one against the Commanders, which we know we're not going to win. But a breakdown out of this game, and nothing against the Carolina Panthers. They got the job done, and I'm not taking anything from Carolina. They did get the job done and got the win. Breakdown of this game. Ryan Fitzgerald, 31-yard field goal. Brandon Aubrey, 23-yard field goal. Hunter Lukey, 3-yard pass from Dak Prescott. Tetro McMillan, 19-yard pass from Bryce Young. Jake Ferguson, 19-yard pass from Dak Prescott. Ryan Fitzgerald, 55-yard field goal. Rico Dowdle, 36-yard pass from Bryce Young. George Pickens, 34-yard pass from Dak Prescott. Tetro McMillan, 2-yard pass from Bryce Young. Brandon Aubrey, 28-yard field goal. And Ryan Fitzgerald with the game-winning field goal. Leaders for the Panthers, Bryce Young, 17-25, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, 199 yards. Rico Dowdle, 30 carries, 183 yards. Rico Dowdle, 4 catches, 56 yards, and a touchdown. There were no sacks by the Panthers. And leading tackler was Christian Roseboom, 3 solo tackles and 6 tackles. For the Panthers, they play against the Jets in New York. For the Cowboys, they play at home against the Washington Commanders. Next game I got right and wrong is Browns-Steelers, which I got right picking Pittsburgh. Aaron Rodgers throws for 2 touchdowns. The Steelers continue home dominance of Browns, a 23-9 win. Aaron Rodgers knows the Pittsburgh Steelers are hardly a finished product 5 games into the season. Steelers have been playing real good football. Aaron Rodgers has been doing good. Hasn't complained. Hasn't bitched on Pat McAfee yet. Everything has been going well for them right now. Just the defense still needs a little bit of work, which the Steelers are predicated on the Steelers' defense. But they are getting the job done with Aaron Rodgers. They are first place in their division. Shocker, because I thought the Ravens would take that division. But due to Lamar Jackson being injured and all the struggles they have, and now with the Bengals, with Joe Burrow being injured with their struggles, and even though they have Joe Flacco, didn't help as much. But they've been winning games, which really matters the most. Now, I don't know how far they're going to go pretty soon, but they're getting the job done. As for Cleveland, Dylan Gabriel tried his best in this game, but it didn't matter because the Browns did lose that one and literally got decimated by their division rival. To break down out of this game, Chris Boswell, 44-yard field goal. Chris Boswell, 50-yard field goal. Chris Boswell, 48-yard field goal. Andre Smith, 31-yard field goal. Connor Hayward, 12-yard pass from Aaron Rodgers. Andre Smith, 50-yard field goal. DK Metcalf, 25-yard pass from Aaron Rodgers. Andre Smith, 32-yard field goal. Leaders for the Steelers, Aaron Rodgers, 21-32, touchdown for 235 yards. Jalen Warren, 11 carries, 52 yards. DK Metcalf, 4 catches for 95 yards and 1 touchdown. Jalen Ramsey, 2 sacks. And leading tackler was Deshaun Elliott with 4 solos and 12 tackles. For the Pittsburgh Steelers, they play on Thursday night against the Cincinnati Bengals. For the Cleveland Browns, they play up against the Miami Dolphins. Next game I got right and wrong is Chargers-Dolphins, which I got wrong picking the Dolphins. Justin Herbert rallied his charge in the final minute for a 29-27 win over the Dolphins. Jim Harbaugh will never forget the sequence. I thought that this was going to be a game the Chargers were going to charger, but unfortunately they did not. They did get the win over a lowly Miami Dolphins team without Tyreek Hill. Shockingly, they got the win when it was needed to try to keep in pace in their division with the Chiefs, with the Broncos right now, because they have a tough sledding ahead. Now, when they need it, but it was an ugly one. They got it when it was job done. But literally, I thought the Dolphins were going to pull this off, but no, the Dolphins did not. They are now 1-5. I still think that the Dolphins will be sellers in the trade deadline. I don't know if they're going to trade Devin Akane, but I think they're going to keep Jalen Waddle. But we'll wait and see what occurs down the road. But a breakdown of this game: Cameron Dicker, 35-yard field goal. Devin Akane, 49-yard rush. Cameron Dicker, 31-yard field goal. Cameron Dicker, 29-yard field goal. Riley Patterson, 47-yard field goal. Riley Patterson, 27-yard field goal. Ladd McConkey, 5-yard pass from Justin Herbert. Kimani Vidal, 7-yard pass from Justin Herbert. Cameron Dicker, 35-yard field goal. Devin Akane, 4-yard rush. Darren Waller, 7-yard pass from Tua Tagovailoa. Cameron Dicker, 35-yard field goal for the win. 33, actually. Leaders for the Chargers: Justin Herbert, 29-38, 2 touchdowns, 264 yards. How do you say his name? Kimani Vidal, 18 carries for 124 yards. Ladd McConkey, 7 catches for 100 yards and 1 touchdown. Leading sacker was Odafe Oweh for 1 sack, and leading tackler for the Chargers with Deion Henley with 7 tackles and 3 solo ones. Next up for the Chargers is against the Indianapolis Colts at 4 o'clock. For the Dolphins, they play against the Cleveland Browns. Okay, next game that I got right in the right and wrong is Patriots Saints, which I got right picking the Patriots. May throws 3 touchdown passes, and the Patriots hold on to beat the Saints 25-19. Louisiana native Kayshon Boutte bought 40 tickets for New England's visit to this New Orleans, and the former LSU receiver got his money's worth. Yes, he did. And that win against the Bills for the Patriots was not a fluke. They built off of that win and are now on a 3-game winning streak right now and are tied in first place with the Buffalo Bills. I did not see coming, but the Patriots have been playing outstanding football. Drake May has been looking good. Now, as my friend Wolf said, which I probably will have on later on tonight, he said if Drake May continues the way he's playing and they keep winning games, he would be the guy. But so far, I've been seeing a lot out of the Patriots. They've been doing a lot good with the defense and on the offense, winning games when it matters the most and keeping pace with their division. As for the Saints, it's a rebuilt team. They got a lot of work to do. It's going to take a lot because Spencer Rattler, we don't know what we're going to get in him. It's going to be a lot of work for Kellen Moore come next year. But a breakdown out of this game: Blake Group, 34-yard field goal. Demario Douglas, 53-yard pass from Drake May. Blake Group, 48-yard field goal. Kayshon Boutte, 25-yard pass from Drake May. Taysom Hill, 1-yard rush. Blake Group, 38-yard field goal. Kayshon Boutte, 29-yard pass from Drake May. Drake May run for 2-point conversion successful. Andy Borgalis, 24-yard field goal. Blake Group, 54-yard field goal. Leaders for the Patriots: Drake May, 18-26, 3 touchdowns, 261 yards. Drake May, leading rusher, 9 carries for 28 yards. Kendrick Booth, 5 catches for 93 yards and 2 touchdowns. Leading sacker for the Patriots was Harold Landry III with 1 sack, and leading tackler was Robert Spillane with 11 tackles and 4 solo ones. For the Patriots, their next opponent is against who do the Patriots play next? We are in they play up against the Titans this Sunday. As for the New Orleans Saints, their next opponent is against the Chicago Bears. Okay, next game that I got right in the right and wrong is Rams-Ravens, which I got right picking the Rams. Rams. Rams stuffed the Lamar Jackson-less Ravens 17-3, dropping Baltimore to 1-5. The first half was the stuff of nightmares for the Los Angeles Rams. Penalties, poor kicking, a turnover, and even an injury to star receiver Puka Nacua, which Puka Nacua did come back. It was a little scary. That's why this game was a little bit low. But the Rams did get the win when it was needed, because I thought the Rams were going to dominate this game without Lamar Jackson. I thought they were going to put up a lot of points, but unfortunately they did not. But the Rams did get the win when it was needed, still holding on to first place in their division now after the Niners lost to the Bucs, which we'll talk about a little later on when we cross that bridge. But right now, they're trying to do everything in their pace to stay in first in their division, having to deal with the with the 49ers, doing everything they can. For the Ravens, if I were them, try to find a backup quarterback as you can. I don't know how long Lamar is going to be out for. I know it's not the same as Joe Burrow's injury, but if Lamar can try to come back, see if he can try to salvage this, because 1-5 is not an easy hole to get out of if you are going to try to make the playoffs or even win your division, because you have a lot of a tough road ahead of you. But a breakdown out of this game: Tyler Luke, 37-yard field goal. Josh McCarty, 36-yard field goal. Kyron Williams, 3-yard rush. Tyler Higbee, 8-yard pass from Matthew Stafford. Leaders for the Rams: Matthew Stafford, 17-26, 181 yards and 1 TD. Kyron Williams, 13 carries, 1 touchdown for 50 yards. Tyler Higbee, 4 catches for 1 touchdown, 40 yards. Leading sacker was Byron Young with 2 sacks for the Rams. And leading tackler for the Rams was Nate Landman with 17 tackles and 8 solo ones. For the Rams, their next opponent is against the Jacksonville Jaguars in London, England. For the Baltimore Ravens, their next opponent is against the Chicago Bears. They are on their bye week on the 26th. So maybe by then Lamar should be back. I don't know. We'll wait and see what occurred after the bye week. Next one I got right and wrong is Cardinals Colts, which I got right picking the Colts. It was Jonathan Taylor running the ball and Daniel Jones making crucial plays at big moments. Daniel Jones throws for 2 touchdowns as the Colts rally past the Cardinals for a 31-27 win. The Colts right now have been playing good football, still looking good, even though the Cardinals are a very bad football team. They're doing everything in their power to stay facing that they're going to be a serious threat for their division. Now, they have a tough game this Sunday against the LA Chargers in LA, back at the scene of the crime where Daniel Jones and the Colts suffered their first loss against the Rams in LA, but it's the same stadium. Now, can he exercise that demon and get the win where he needs it this time? Because I think against the Chargers, they might charge that game, and I think the Chargers might underestimate the Colts here. And I think the Colts can pull off this win. But we'll wait and see when I talk about that game later on tonight. But a breakdown, as for the Cardinals, I don't know if Kyler did not play with Jacoby Brissett. Now, I don't know if Kyler is going to be playing this Sunday when they play up against, or are they on their bye week? So the Cardinals play against the Packers. I don't know if he's going to be available for the Packers game this Sunday. We'll wait and see where Kyler will be. But a breakdown out of this game. Tyler Warren, 8-yard pass from Daniel Jones. Bam Knight, 1-yard rush. Daniel Jones, 3-yard rush. Chad Reeland, 40-yard field goal. Trey McBride, 1-yard pass from Jacoby Brissett. Michael Bagley, 45-yard field goal. Greg Dortch, 12-yard pass from Jacoby Brissett. Josh Downs, 5-yard pass from Daniel Jones. Chad Reeland, 44-yard field goal. Jonathan Taylor, 1-yard rush. Leaders for the Colts, Daniel Jones, 22 of 32 touchdowns, 1 interception, and 212 yards. Jonathan Taylor, 21 carries, 123 yards, and 1 touchdown. Tyler Warren, 6 catches, 1 touchdown for 63 yards. Leading sacker for the Colts is Kwity Paye with 2 sacks. And leading tackler for the Colts was Jermaine Pratt with 11 tackles and 8 solo tackles. For the Colts, they play up against the LA Chargers. For the Cardinals, they play against the Packers. Next game that I got right and wrong is Seahawks Jags, which I got wrong picking the Jags. Darnold, Smith, and Jigman defense carry Seahawks a 20-12 victory at Jaguars. Having thrown a combined 6 interceptions in his last 2 starts in Jacksonville, Sam Darnold refused to get greedy this time around, which he didn't. I thought Jacksonville was going to win this game and build off of that win against the Chiefs, but from what it looks like, they did not build off of that win. It looks like it's back to same old Jags as usual, where I said it's usually in these situations they shit the bed, and now they have gone back to shitting the bed yet again. I don't know what's going to happen with the Jags. Yes, they are 4-2. If they're trying to keep pace with the Colts and try to get their division, you got to win games, and it's games like this you have to win. Now you have a tough one in London, England against the LA Rams. If you don't win that one and it happened, the Colts beat the Chargers, that door will be a little bit more closed if the Colts get this. Now for the Seahawks, when they needed to try to keep pace with both the 49ers and the Rams, they did good in this one. I thought they would lose this one. They bounced back from that loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, getting the win when it was nearly needed with their defense, with Smith and Jigba and with Sam Darnold. Now, a breakdown out of this game. Brian Thomas Jr., 20-yard pass from Trevor Lawrence. Jason Myers, 24-yard field goal. Jackson Smith and Jigba, 61-yard pass from Sam Darnold. Jason Myers, 53-yard field goal. Cooper Kupp, 11-yard pass from Sam Darnold. Tim Patrick, 26-yard pass from Trevor Lawrence. Leaders for the Seahawks, Sam Darnold, 16-27, 2 touchdowns for 295 yards. Kenneth Walker, the third, 10 carries for 34 yards. Jackson Smith and Jigba, 8 catches, 160 yards and a touchdown. DeMarcus Lawrence, 2 sacks. Leading tackler was Drake Thomas with 9 tackles and 2 solo ones. For the Seahawks, they play up against the – or are they on their bye week? The Seahawks are on their bye. They will – the Seahawks will play on Monday Night Football against the Houston Texans. As for the Jags, they play in London, England against the Rams. Next game that I got right and wrong is Titans-Raiders, which I got right picking the Raiders. The Raiders had a 4-game skid by dominating on defense to beat the Titans 20-10. It was Devin White and Max Crosby and John Lulu and seemingly every defender wearing Raiders silver and black. Well, this was a game I didn't really think would be good, and me and Wolf made a joke called 1-800-GAMBLER if you betted on this game. The Raiders got the win. It was 2 bad teams playing against each other. It was basically your Lifetime/Nickelodeon game of the week. But it was a game that was needed for the Raiders, even though, they don't want to go winless, but it wasn't going to be easy for them. But I will say that the Raiders needed this game. It wasn't that much to talk about. The Titans, it's a team in rebuild. Same with the Raiders. Both are in rebuild. But right now, both of these teams do need to pick up wins and see, hey, I don't want to go first in the draft with a first or top 10 pick, which I think both will be getting a top 10 pick anyway. But a breakdown out of this game, Daniel Carlson, 50-yard field goal. Michael Meyer, 4-yard pass from Geno Smith. Ashton Jenney, 3-yard rush. Matthew Wright, 46-yard field goal. Daniel Carlson, 29-yard field goal. David Martin Robinson, 1-yard pass from Cam Ward. Leaders for the Raiders, Geno Smith, 17-23, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 474 yards. Ashton Jenney, 23 carries, 1 touchdown for 75 yards. Leading receiver for the Raiders was Trey Tucker with 5 catches for 70 yards. Max Crosby was the leading sacker with 2 sacks. And leading tackler was Devin White with 5 solo tackles and 9 tackles. For the Raiders, they have a bye. Raiders' next game is on Sunday against the Chiefs. As for the Titans, their next game is against the Patriots. Next game that I got right and wrong is 49ers Bucks, which I got right picking the Bucks. Like I did get all my fours right, so that was something there. But for this week, it hasn't been that good for me. Baker Mayfield tosses 2 touchdown passes, and the Buccaneers beat the 49ers 30-19. Baker Mayfield shrugged off the MVP chance the way he shook away from tacklers. Baker is in that conversation for MVP. He's been doing very, very well. Even though Tampa did suffer an injury with Ebenezer Ebika, he has a hamstring injury, and I don't know exactly when he will be back. But Tampa has been pulling off good. This one wasn't like your cardiac Bucks. The Bucks dominated in this game, and a win that they needed to keep pace in their division. To literally, they're 5-1. They got to face Atlanta down the road eventually again to try to keep pace, keep first place. But it will be very, very good sledding for them. Now, for Tampa, a lot more talks I could say. I don't think this team could be a possible 4 in the playoffs. Possibly it could be a 3. Now, this is depending on tiebreakers in the division. Now, if it's the 49ers, they would probably get it 2. If it's the Rams, barring with the conference and barring with tiebreakers, then it could be a 3. I don't see this team as a 4, and I think this team could be the little dark horse in a playoff that could go to an NFC championship since the last time with Tom Brady. But this team could be a dark horse. I wouldn't sleep on the Bucs this year. I would not. How far they could go. Now, they have a tough one on Monday Night Football against the Detroit Lions. We'll see how they do. As for the 49ers, Mac Jones did everything he could, even though he was facing an injury. He doesn't have all his weapons. No George Kittle, no Juwan Jennings, no Ricky Pearsall. And the 49ers did suffer a tough blow with Frank Warner. He's going to be out for the season, so that defense is going to be a little bit tough now. Now, I don't know how the 49ers are going to regress later on throughout the season, but we'll wait and see. But a breakdown out of this game, Rashad White, 2-yard rush. Eddie Pinheiro, 52-yard field goal. Chris McCaffrey, 1-yard rush. Sean Tucker, 9-yard rush. Eddie Pinheiro, 54-yard field goal. Cameron Johnson, 34-yard pass from Baker Mayfield. Eddie Pinheiro, 42-yard field goal. Eddie Pinheiro, 29-yard field goal. Tez Johnson, 45-yard pass from Baker Mayfield. Chase McLaughlin, 45-yard field goal. Leaders for the Bucs, Baker Mayfield, 17-23, 256 yards and 2 touchdowns. Rashad White, 17 carries and 1 touchdown for 65 yards. Leading receiver for the Bucs was Cameron Johnson with 4 catches, 1 touchdown, 64 yards. Leading sacker was Yaya Diaby with 2 sacks. And Anton Wilfield Jr. was the leading tackler with 9 tackles and 5 solo ones. For the Bucs, they play on Monday Night Football against the Detroit Lions. For the San Francisco 49ers, they play on Sunday Night Football against the Atlanta Falcons. Next game that I got right and wrong is Packers-Bengals, which I got right picking the bank with the Packers. And also I got right picking the Bengals covering the spread. So there's 2 rights. Okay, Packers overcome Flacco's comeback attempt and beat the Bengals 27-18. This time, the Green Bay Packers built a double-digit lead and finished the job, which they did. They did not let Joe Flacco pull off a second one and do the infamous line of beat John Cena, which I made fun of. I said which Joe Flacco was going to say beat the Green Bay Packers, but unfortunately, he did not this time. The Packers got their revenge on Joe Flacco this time, getting a win that was needed. Even though they have that tie, it's going to be a little tough for them to get their division. I still see them making playoffs, possibly as a 6 or a 7, but it's going to be a little bit tough for them to do it. Yes, they have Josh Jacobs. Yes, they have Romeo Dobbs. Eventually, they will get Christian Watson, Devontae Wicks, and Tucker Kraft. For the Bengals, Flacco tried his best, but it was not enough to get the win. Now, if I were the Bengals, I don't know who I'd get someone else for a backup because this Thursday you have a tough one against the Pittsburgh Steelers, who've been doing very, very well. Now, I don't know if they should, A, try to make a move for Russ, B, call the Atlanta Falcons for Kirk Cousins, or C, see if you can get Derek Carr out of retirement or even Tom Brady. But a breakdown out of this game. No scoring in the first quarter. Lucas Havertz, 43-yard field goal. Josh Jacobs, 3-yard rush. Tanner Hudson, 2-yard pass from Joe Flacco. Josh Jacobs, 14-yard rush. Evan McPherson, 45-yard field goal. Tucker Kraft, 19-yard pass from Jordan Love. Jamar Chase, 19-yard pass from Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco passed to Chase Brown for 2-point conversion successful. Lucas Havertz, 39-yard field goal. Leaders for the Packers, Jordan Love, 19-26, 1 touchdown, 1 interception for 259 yards. Josh Jacobs, 18 carries, 2 touchdowns for 93 yards. Matthew Golden, 3 catches for 86 yards. I think it's Leroy Von Ness. Lucas Van Ness was the leading sack with 1 sack, and leading tackle for the Packers was Edgerrin Cooper with 11 tackles and 4 solo ones. For the Packers, they play on Sunday against the Arizona Cardinals. For the Bengals, they play this Thursday night against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Next game that I got right and wrong is Lions-Chiefs, which I got wrong, picking Detroit. Mahomes leads the Chiefs to a 37 victory over the Lions and a fist fighter ups at the finish. Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs knew they were going to have a fight on their hands when the Detroit Lions running a 4-game winning streak and a whole bunch of momentum rolled into Arrowhead Stadium on Sunday night. The Chiefs got the win that was barely needed because they had just lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars and it got embarrassed, proving in that game that they did not want to have a 2-game losing streak and we're giving life to both the LA Chargers and the Denver Broncos right now to try to see if they can get their division. Now, they have a divisional battle against the Raiders this Sunday. We'll wait and see how that occurs. But now they have a tough bet. They have one against them. Not a tough battle, but a divisional battle, which sometimes in the past, when they have played bad teams, they usually play down to their competition. Now, I don't know how this is going to be come this Sunday when they play the Raiders. As for Detroit, I thought that the streak was going to continue. They had been playing good football, but unfortunately, they got humbled by the Kansas City Chiefs. I thought that this was a game that they would win, but unfortunately, they just took a humble loss. Now, this team is going to bounce back against Tampa Bay on Monday. I'll discuss that later on in the show. But they still have everything. Yes, they're 4-2. Yes, they still have a good defense. Yes, they still have a good offense. But to me, I think that this was a game they just got humbled. They didn't get their asses kicked. They just got humbled. But I think maybe on Monday night, they should bounce back. But breakdown out of this game. Jake Bates, 28-yard field goal. Xavier Worthy, 6-yard pass from Patrick Mahomes. Jamison Williams, 22-yard pass from Jared Goff. Patrick Mahomes, 1-yard rush. Hollywood Brown, 9-yard pass from Patrick Mahomes. Sam Laporta, 4-yard pass from Jared Goff. Hollywood Brown, 3-yard pass from Patrick Mahomes. Harrison Butker, 33-yard field goal. Leaders for the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, 22 of 33 touchdowns for 257 yards. Isaiah Pacheco, 12 carries, 51 yards. Travis Kelce, 6 catches for 78 yards. Leading sacker for the Chiefs was Charles Omenihu with 1 sack. And leading tackler was Connor Chamari with 14 tackles and 10 solo ones. For the Chiefs, they play against the Raiders on Sunday. As for the Detroit Lions, they play against the Buccaneers on Monday Night Football. Next game that I got right and wrong is Bills-Falcons, which I got wrong, picking the Bills. Falcons ride Robinson 170-yard rushing up, including 81-yard touchdown to a 24-14 win over Allen and Bill. Big play from Bijan Robinson and Drake London. Mistake-free leadership from Michael Penix Jr. made the Atlanta Falcons like a playoff contender. I'm not going to go far and say playoff contender just yet. I'm going to say it was an impressive win and a dominating win by the Atlanta Falcons. Now, as how the Patriots did with the Bills, they built off of their win and continued with it, even though the Patriots were on a 2-game winning streak at the time. Now the Patriots are on a 3-game. I'll wait till I cross that, but I think it was a 3-game, and now on a 3-game win streak. For the Falcons, yes, they are now on a 2-game win streak. Now, they do play the 49ers on Sunday Night Football. Can they build off of this win and see if they can do that and get this one? Now, this was a dominating win. Now, if they don't build off this one and they lose this one, then I am going to say same old fucking Atlanta Falcons. But I'm not a believer in the Falcons just yet. I got to wait and see a little bit more because, one, the jury is still out on the Washington Commanders. I don't know how they're going to be. Jury is still out on that. The Bills are a very good football team. That was a dominant win. Right now, they're on a 2-game losing streak along with Philadelphia. Now, if I were Buffalo right now, in the deadline, try to make a move for a receiver and on your defense right now because you're going to need something for your offense because Josh got sacked the hell out of in that game, and he did not look good in that game. Now, if I were the Bills, try to make a move for another receiver or try to make a move on the defense because you're going to need something here. Now, I'm not saying let's hit the panic button on the Bills just yet. No. If there's more who needs more of a panic, I would say Philadelphia needs more of a panic than the Bills. Because I think the Bills can try to bounce back from now. The Bills have a bye week next week. So maybe within that bye week, they can discuss and say, okay, hey, let's see what we need to fix before we have to play. I think it is New England in 2 weeks. No, it is the Carolina Panthers. They play the Carolina Panthers in 2 weeks. So when they play Carolina in 2 weeks, let's see if they can try to build and fix what they can fix here. So we'll see. But not taking away from the Atlanta Falcons. Damn impressive victory. Let's see if you can build off of this impressive win. If you beat the 49ers, then I can talk a little bit more. Maybe I can go a little bit and say, you know what, you could be a surprise wild card. But I'm not going to go that just far just yet. But a breakdown out of this game. Tyler Algier, 21-yard rush. Dawson Knox, 19-yard pass from Josh Allen. Drake London, 9-yard pass from Michael Penix Jr. Bijan Robinson, 81-yard rush. Ray Davis, 16-yard pass from Josh Allen. Parker Romo, 33-yard field goal. Leaders for the Falcons, Michael Penix Jr., 20 of 32, 1 touchdown for 250 yards. Bijan Robinson, 19 carries, 1 touchdown for 170 yards. Drake London, 10 catches for 1 touchdown, 158 yards. Leading sacker for the Falcons was David Onyemata with 1 sack, and leading tackler was Mike Hughes with 6 tackles and 5 solo ones. For the Falcons, they play on Sunday Night Football against the 49ers. As for the Bills, they are on their bye week. And the final game that I got right and wrong is Commanders-Bears, which I got wrong picking the Commanders. This was a game I thought the Commanders were going to win, but the Bears right now are proving that they were going to be this red-hot team that everybody's seen them as. Now, Ben Johnson's doing good. They got them over 500 with an impressive victory. They won very, very close in their last 2 games. Now, they do play up against the New Orleans Saints, even though the Saints are a bad team, which you should beat a very, very bad team. Let's see if you can dominate them and not play down to your competition. As for the Commanders right now, they are now on a 2-game losing streak, and I thought that this could be a team that would compete with Philadelphia. I'm still going to say I think that the final game of the season on Sunday Night Football could be Commanders and Eagles for the battle for the NFC East, which could be one is going to get, well, I'm going to throw right now, they're not going to get a 1. There is the possibility you could be a 2 and possibly going in as maybe a 6 or a 5. But we'll wait and see when we cross that bridge near the end of December. But we got to see how Washington does. Now, Washington has to bounce back against the Dallas Cowboys because I'm going to say right now, I think my Cowboys are going to lose to Washington. And I wouldn't be shocked if the Cowboys lose every game, but that's another story for a different day. But for the Bears, can they build off of this win? Can they win and beat New Orleans dominantly before they have to play Detroit again later down the road? I think they don't play Detroit until the end of the season. You can see if they can try to catch them. But unfortunately, yes, Detroit has their second loss. So a little bit of a battle here in this NFC North. So it's going to be a little bit of a battle here for that division. Everybody does have a winning record, even though, yes, Green Bay does have a tie. But it's going to be a little bit tough, and we're going to see what happens down the road between these teams in the end. So breakdown of this game, Jake Moody, 47-yard field goal. Jake Moody, 48-yard field goal. Caleb Williams, 1-yard rush. Chris Moore, 20-yard pass from Jaden Daniels. Matt Gay, 53-yard field goal. Jake Moody, 41-yard field goal. Luke McCaffrey, 33-yard pass from Jaden Daniels. Zach Ertz, 6-yard pass from Jaden Daniels. DeAndre Swift, 55-yard pass from Caleb Williams. 2-point conversion failed. Jake Moody with a game-winning field goal with a 38-yard field goal. Leaders for the Bears, Caleb Williams, 17 of 29, 252 yards and 1 touchdown. DeAndre Swift, 14 carries, 108 yards. DeAndre Swift, 2 catches, 1 touchdown, 67 yards. Leading sacker for the Bears was Grayvon Dexter Sr. with 1.5 sack, and leading tackler for the Bears was Tremaine Edmonds with 3 solo tackles and 12 tackles. For the Bears, they play up against the New Orleans Saints, and for the Commanders, they play in Dallas on this Sunday. Now we're going to get into the pick section of this right now. So I'm pulling this up right now via DraftKings. So for tomorrow night's game, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm going to take the Steelers in this game. Steelers have been playing impressive football with Aaron Rodgers. He's been doing good. He hasn't complained yet. I can see Jalen Warren having a good game, DK Metcalf, and Cameron Hayward. And I can see TJ Watt getting to Joe Flacco here. They have the Pittsburgh Steelers as 5.5 favorites. I will take the Steelers with the 5.5 points. Over or under 44. I'm going to take a little bit of an under. I'm going to say maybe hit 42. So I'm going to say under in that one. All right, for our UK game, we have the Rams and the Jaguars. I'm going to take the Rams here. The Rams get the win here with Stafford going to Kyron Williams, Puka Nacua, and Devontae Adams, and Tyler Higbee and Tutu Atwell. And I can see that defensive burst getting to Trevor Lawrence. They have the Rams as 3-point favorites. I'll take the Rams with the 3 points over or under 44. Seemingly, this has been a trend with these UK games. I'm going to say low scoring. I'm going to take an under in this one because most of these UK games have not gone high, and I'm thinking we're going to have another low scoring one here. Next we have is our the 1 o'clock games. We have the New England Patriots and the Tennessee Titans. I'm going to go with the New England Patriots. The Patriots have been red hot after beating the Bills here and are on I think a 3-game win streak right now. Let me see, because I know they beat. Let's look at. Let's see after that Bills game. I know they beat the Saints. So let's see. So the Patriots have been on they beat the Panthers with 1. They beat the Bills 2. So they are on a 3-game win streak. So if they beat the Titans, they will be on a 4-game win streak. And right now, how they're playing, they're tied for first in their division. Now that Buffalo has a bye, they could be in sole possession of first place at this moment. And then after that, and then we could be talking a little bit different with New England. And I could be talking maybe a surprise into a wild card. Not yet with division. I may say maybe a surprise as a wild card, but we'll wait and see what happens with New England. But I'm going to take the New England Patriots in this game. They have, I'm going to say this more be of Drake May, Ramondre Stevenson, Trayvon Hendrickson, Boot, and Hunter Henry. And I can see the defense getting to Cam Ward. So I'm going to take the New England Patriots in this one. They have the Patriots 7-point favorites. I'm going to take the Patriots with the 7 points. Over or under 42. I'm going to say over. Patriots might put up a lot of points in this one. I think they'll put up a lot of points. I'm going to take an over in this one. Next we have is the Philadelphia Eagles and the Minnesota Vikings. I'm not playing a hater card against the Eagles, but in this one, how the Eagles have been playing and not doing good, I am going to go with the Minnesota Vikings in an upset here. I can see this be a close game here, and I can see the Vikings win. It's probably by a last-minute field goal or maybe a game-winning touchdown by either Justin Jefferson, Addison, Aaron Jones, or maybe even Jordan Mason. So I'm going to go with the Vikings here, regardless if it is, I don't know if it's going to be J.J. McCarthy or Carson Wentz. So let me see. Okay, so it is not going to be J.J. McCarthy. It will be Carson Wentz. So I can see Carson Wentz pulling the ultimate fuck you against the Eagles. And I said when I did my schedule release of this game that I said the Eagles would lose to this game in a trap game. I think the Eagles are going to lose in back-to-back trap games and are going to be on a 3-game losing streak. Now, I will take the Vikings in this one. They have the Vikings 1.5 underdogs. I'm going to take the Vikings with the 1.5 points. Over under 43 points. I am going to take an under. I don't think this is going to be that high scoring. I think this could be a very defensive struggle. So I'm going to take an under here. I'm going to take under in this one. Next, we have the Carolina Panthers and the New York Jets. Oh, boy. Carolina did beat us. The Jets are trying to find ways to win. I'm going to go with the Panthers on a whim here. And I see Bryce Young has a good game here because usually on the road he doesn't. And I thought he would be bipolar as fuck against us. Unfortunately, they weren't. So I'm going to take the Panthers with Bryce Young, Rico Dowell, and going to Xavier Legette. And I can see that defense getting to Justin Fields. So I'm going to take the Panthers here. They have the Panthers as 1.5 favorites. I will take the Panthers with the 1.5 points. Over or under 42.5. I'm going to say an under in this one. I don't think either one's going to put up that many points. So I'm going to take an under here. Next game we have is the Las Vegas Raiders and the Kansas City Chiefs. I am going to take the Chiefs here. I could see Mahomes having a good game using his legs and going to Travis Kelce, Xavier Worthy, Rashid Rice, and Noah Gray, and Hollywood Brown, and Pacheco having a good game, Kareem Hunt. I can see that defense getting to Geno Smith. They have the Chiefs as 11.5 favorites. I am not going to take those points because I know how the Chiefs usually do against bad teams. They play down to their competition, and I can see the Chiefs playing down to them again. And I'm going to take the Raiders with the 11.5 underdog points. Over or under 45. I'm going to take an over in this one because it's a divisional battle. Here's a game where we would need 1-800-GAMBLER if you decide to touch this one. Our Lifetime game, Nickelodeon game, Disney, whatever you want to call it game. The Miami Dolphins and the Cleveland Browns. Neither one is that good. Ooh, boy, it's in Cleveland. I am going to take Cleveland here on a whim here. I'm going to go with Dylan Gabriel having a good game with Junkins and Njoku and Jerry Jeudy. And I can see that defense getting to the Dolphins with sacks by Myles Garrett. So I'm going to take the Browns on this one. They have the Browns as 2.5 favorites. I'll take those points. Over or under 40. I'm going to say under. It barely touches 40. I'm going to take an under in this one. Next we have is the New Orleans Saints and the Chicago Bears. I'm going to take the Bears in this one. This one is a game that they should dominate and win and not be close and not play down to their competition. I can see DeAndre Swift having a good game, DJ Moore and Romeo Odunze, and I can see that defense getting to Spencer Rattler. They have the Bears as 4.5 favorites. I'll take the Bears with the 4.5 points. Over or under 47. I'll take an over in this one. The Bears do put up a lot of points at home, so I'm going to take an over. Now, our 4 o'clock games, we have the New York Giants and the Denver Broncos. I'm going to take the Denver Broncos on this one. The Giants, I know, had that good win against Philadelphia, but I don't think they're going to build upon this win. I think the Broncos are going to put the Giants back down to earth and humble them pretty good. And I could see J.K. Dobbins having a good game, Harvey, Cortland Sutton, and I could see that defense getting to Jackson Dart, and I could see Pat Surtain getting a pick here. So I'm going to take the Denver Broncos here. They have the Broncos as 7-point favorites. I will take the Broncos with the 7 points. Over or under 39 points. I'll take an over. I think it just hits 40. I'll take an over in this one. Next one we have is the Colts and the Chargers. I am going to go with the Colts in an upset here. I think they get their revenge in L.A. this time against the Chargers after they lost to the Rams, where they come back to the scene of the crime. I see the Colts getting a win here with Jonathan Taylor, Joshua Downs, and I can see that defense getting to Justin Herbert. They have the Colts as 1.5 underdogs. I'm going to take the Colts with the 1.5 points. Over or under 48. I see over due to the Chargers trying to charge this game. Next one we have is the Green Bay Packers and the Arizona Cardinals. I'm going to take the Packers in this one. I can see Jordan Love having a good game, going to Josh Jacobs, going to Christian Watson if he's playing, Romeo Dobbs, Tucker Kraft, and Matthew Golden. And I could see that defense getting to Kyler Murray with sacks by Micah Parsons. So I will take the Green Bay Packers in this one. They have the Packers as 6.5 favorites. I'll take the Packers with the 6.5 points. Over or under 44 points. I'll take an over in this one. Next one we have is the Washington Commanders and the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to take the Washington Commanders in this one. I see the Commanders bouncing back from that ugly loss to the Chicago Bears with Jaden Daniels using his legs and his arms, going to Zach Ertz and Terry McLaurin. And I could see that defense getting to Dak Prescott. They have the Commanders as 2.5 favorites. I'll take the Commanders with the 2.5. Over or under 54. I'm going to take an under. That is way too high, even though I know Dak can put up points, but I don't think they're going to put up that many in that one. For our Sunday night game, we have the Atlanta Falcons and the San Francisco 49ers. I'm going to take the 49ers in this one, regardless of who the quarterback is, if it is Mac Jones or Brock Purdy. I'm going to take that. One of them having a good game, so is Christian McCaffrey. And I can say George Tong's having a good game. And I can see the defense try to get to Michael Penix here, even without Frank Warren. But I still see the 49ers pulling this off. They have the Niners 2.5 favorites. I'll take the Niners with the 2.5 points. Over or under 47. I'm going to take an over in this one because Penix has been putting up a lot of points. I'm going to take an over in this one. Next one, we have our 2 Monday night games. We have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Detroit Lions. I'm going to take the Detroit Lions in this one. The Lions bounce back from that ugly loss to the Chiefs. This is a game where I think the Bucs will get humbled. Not a fuck you game, but it's a humble game. They're going to get humbled. So I'm going to take the Detroit Lions in this one. I could see a good game out of Jared Goff with the 1-2 combination of Gibbs and Montgomery, going to Amon-Ra St. Brown, Laporta, Jamison Williams, and I can see the defense getting to Baker Mayfield with sacks by Anceloni and Hutchinson, and Brian Branch getting a pick. They have the Lions as 5.5 favorite. I'll take the Lions with the 5.5 points. Over or under 52. Over. I can see both of these two teams putting up points. Next we have is the Houston Texans and the Seattle Seahawks. I will take the Seattle Seahawks in this one. I see the Seahawks getting the win here with Sam Darnold going to Smith and Jigba and Kenneth Walker III having a good game. I can see that one happening there. Leaders for the Texans. Then let's skip what I just said. They have the Seahawks as 3.5 3-point favorite. I'll take the Seahawks with the 3 points. Over or under 41. I'll take an under because it is not easy to put up points in Seattle at times. So I'm going to take an under in that one. So before we end and I bid adieu, it's just been enough time for talk. It's time for kickoff. I'm Dave Walker, and we'll see you on the field. Good night, everybody.